What was your relationship like with your mum and your dad? But you didn't really. Did you have your dad around?
No. So I grew up in New Orleans and I've got two brothers, two sisters. So I was the baby of five, which was pretty sick
Oh my
because
God.
yeah, like literally my oldest sister started having kids whenever she was 16, which is like obviously really young, and my mom started having kids when she was 16.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally very, very young, like back in the day. So like my sister had a baby 2 years after me and started having kids then. So I grew up with like loads of nieces and nephews that were like the same age as me because my brother was like 20 years older. So it was like,
That's
yeah.
nuts.
So
That's
it was
such a
like a
busy
huge,
household.
yeah, it was like like I never went to nursery because like we would just have family members watch all the kids at once. So it was like a nursery in itself, like just loads of like youngins running about and everything.
Yeah, you either get that
Um,
or like really small families with like one
yeah.
kid that
Yeah.
doesn't get what you're talking about at
No,
all.
not at all. Literally.
So what was that like growing up in
Sorry, I
such a
was just like
busy
getting
household?
super nostalgic. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Had loads of
um,
friends with me all the time.
Yeah, it was just like it was really busy. I grew up without a dad as well. Like my mom, which is kind of a crazy story. My mom actually told like cuz I knew that I had a different last name than my other siblings, but I never kind of like put two and two together. Like so I knew my oldest two siblings had a different dad because like I'd met him and stuff like that. My mom was like married before when she had her first two kids. And then she had my brother, my sister, and then myself. And we, like, my brother had a different last name than us, but me and my sister had the same last name. And I just never kind of put two and two that we all had a different dad. Like, so my mom told me as well, especially because, like, my mom literally told me, my mom told me that my dad had died. Like, yeah, so like growing up, I just like, if people ask me, like, oh, where's your dad or something like that, I'd be like, oh, he's dead. Like, he died from cancer, which not funny, but like, which my mom actually was married to someone before me who she was married to this guy who actually died from cancer, like which was really sad. Like she like nursed him, and basically she gave my sister, my like closest like sibling sister, and myself his last name because we were born like really relatively like soon after like he had died kind of thing. um yeah, so it's a bit of a crazy story. Yeah, so like I grew up, my mom, she was always like single parent, like raising like loads of kids, always helping out with nieces and nephews and stuff like that, like her grandkids. And yeah, my brother, my like closest like an age brother, like he pretty much like looked after us, I would say, because my mom was working all the time, like, so yeah, it was just a bit crazy. And then I found out when I was like 18 that like, my dad was actually like not dead. And like he was actually alive and just like fucked off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's a bit nuts.
And then what? And then what?
Yeah, like yeah. So
What did you
when
do when you found out?
it was really weird. Okay, so life's a bit crazy, but I moved out of my like mom's house when I was 16, like, and I moved out, and at one point I moved in with my cousins, like my older cousins, and they were like, "We've got a spare bedroom, like come and stay with us. We want to make sure you're looked after and stuff." And during that like period of me staying there, like um yeah, she just told me. She just kind of like sat me down at the table, and I think I was 18, so like she just kind of like felt like it was time and that my mom wasn't ever going to do it, where obviously this really upset my mom because she had kind of like she wanted me to be older and more mentally prepared. Like I was just starting like I was in university at that time, and she just felt like it was like not okay for them to like take that upon themselves. Again, I don't know if my mom would have told me, and I don't blame her, like, like
Yeah.
at all. But yeah, so my cousin just told me, she was like, yeah, like everyone knows kind of thing, like, your dad, like, my aunt, like her mom has like met him. Basically there was like photos of like me and him when I was around like walking age, so maybe like a
Oh.
year old and stuff. And so she told me, and then she said she would help me find his details and his number to get in touch with him just to like speak to him.
Your cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my cousin, my auntie kind of like grouped together to kind of like help me. And yeah, and so
How did your mum feel about that?
yeah, so I told my mom that they had told me, and I was like not upset with her at all. I was like, I get it because I grew up not feeling abandoned. Like I didn't feel like someone didn't want me or someone didn't. Again, if you like some people would be like, wow, she lied to you. That's horrible. But
Mm.
like thinking back on it, like when I was told, I wasn't really shocked. I look so different compared to all of my other siblings, like so different.
Well, you're fucking gorgeous,
Oh,
so
thanks. Like, yeah. Stop it. But yeah, and I just like it was just one of those things that I just never really thought too much. It was just so much easier to just say to people and shut them down straight away. Like, because if they ask me, then no one's gonna be like, yeah, but how did he die from cancer? Like, or some
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like they'd be like, okay, like, okay, kind of thing.
I'm an accountant.
I'm an accountant. Yeah, nobody
Why
asks
ask
you
me questions
questions.
when you say you're an accountant?
Literally, it's like boom, shut down. And then yeah, so I found his number. I think I called, yeah, like I called him, and I just we spoke on the phone. He seemed nice. I was like, "Yo, like I'm your daughter, Melanie, like hello." Or
And
like,
do you
yeah.
remember like what he said?
Yeah, he acted as if he never knew I existed. Like literally acted as if like he was like, "Wow, this is amazing." Yeah, literally, because he acted as if like my mom hadn't told him when there was literally pictures of me and him. Like, do you know what I mean? I get it. Like, you just obviously are embarrassed because you abandoned a child. Like, whatever, dude. Like, do like, there's no like animosity. But so I knew he was lying, but I was like, it's okay because he's a person that I want to meet. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. I just want to meet him once.
Mm.
And then I asked him if he was like going to be around or if he would like to meet. And I was like, obviously telling my mom all this while my mom was literally like not speaking to my cousin and my aunt during that time because she was raging.
Mm.
But I just like explained to her that like, it's okay. And then I found out that obviously my sister had a different dad as well. And so I took my sister to like we have like creeks, like, like a river, like to swim in and stuff. And we had like a nice sunny day. And I just took her, me and her, and I just told her, like, yo, like, actually, I found out about my dad. Like, I found out about your dad as well. Like, if you need help, like, we can find them together, get in contact with him and stuff. And yeah, and so I just basically told my sister about like her dad as well because I wanted it to come from someone who was actually close, like, because it would have been nicer coming from my mom than my cousins, but it wasn't bad. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it wasn't like a bad thing. And then my brother actually already knew, and he like about his dad because he had a different dad as well. And
Oh my
he,
god, wow.
bro, my mom,
So many dads.
Leia, like yeah, no, she was just like she had a really horrible relationship. Like her first husband, like was really abusive and like really horrible. And she was 16, and I think it just kind of ruined her. And she was like, I'm like, gonna have kids for myself, like, and
Yeah.
raise them myself. And like, if they want to stick around, they can stick around. But like, do you know, like, if they fuck off, they're not coming back in. That's it. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not going to be a halfway person. Like, she's like, I'll just tell them all, you're all dead. Like, you've all died.
You're all dead to
You
me.
have all died. And like my brother as well was around when she was actually married to Richard, which was my last name. Like
Rashad.
Rashad. It's actually Rashad. But yeah, Rashad. Yeah, so we arranged a meetup, and I brought one of my friends with me just to kind of like support kind of thing. Looking back at it, I'm like, why didn't I bring one of my siblings? But like it was just someone, it was like really last minute. And I show up there, and he's got like a load of people with him. Like we meet up in this like neutral space.
It's like
And
you're about to fight.
bro, like we show up and he's got his new wife with him. He was never married to my mom, but he's got his wife with him. And then he's got his wife's sister and her husband. And I was just like, hey, like, do you know what I mean? Like, he needed all of them there for like moral support, I guess. But like, that was like a crowd. It was very intimidating. Like, as like a youngin, like, meeting your dad for the first time, like, it's like a massive, why didn't you just meet me? Like, maybe you and your wife, but like, not everybody. But he took us out to
That's
eat.
weird.
Yeah. See, it is weird. I knew it then. He took us out to eat, and we just chatted, like kind of like it was just like nice chat. To be honest, I don't really remember anything like very specific. I just remember we went to this like restaurant, and he asked me to dance. Like there was live music playing. Like this is like New Orleans, like in Slidell, like in Louisiana, there's always music. And he asked me to dance. And I
Like
just,
with him or just
yeah, like people were dancing, but like I felt so weird because obviously he asked me in front of everyone, and I was like, okay. And I just felt at that moment, I realized that it was like him showing off. Like, look at me meeting this daughter I had never met before, because I don't know what he was telling his wife and stuff, like it and them, like as if like he had never met me before, kind of thing.
like never heard of
Yeah,
you.
never like
She
the
found me.
this is a shock. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then and at that point I was like, this is weird. I feel like he's showing me off and trying to be like, oh, look at me. I look how nice I am. And he gave me like a bunch of like cigars and cigarettes, and like, which I don't smoke like ever. Like I never really smoked cigarettes. Like I never
Mm.
got into that. And I like, again, it was just like it just felt really odd. Like it just felt fake. And but I was just happy that it was a good experience, because it could have been worse. And I was like, good, I've met him. He seems all right. Like, and like following up, he did call, like, maybe like bi-weekly, like once every 2 weeks. And we had really nice chats. And I told him about my dreams and aspirations. And he was like really, really supportive. And one key thing which I should have noticed was like a red flag whenever we met as well, was that he's got other kids, like loads of other kids, like not loads, but
Mm.
I think he's got 4 other kids. One of them is like a stepson from his like new wife, or like not new wife, I say new, I think they've been married for ages. But and yeah, and I asked him, I was like, oh, are you gonna tell them about me? And he was like, no, I just don't think I'm ready for that. And I was like, you're not ready. I literally just found out my dad fucking rose from the dead and is a different person. Like you're not ready. When
He sounds quite immature.
yeah, when he knew about me the whole time, like, do you know what I mean? So it's not something that was like a new shock. I'm not ready. It was like me knowing, like, when he's saying that to me, like, he doesn't know that I knew he was lying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, gonna let him speak. Like, and yeah, and obviously he felt guilty, so he felt like he had to lie, which I get it. Like abandoning a child is fucking shite. Like, what were you thinking? Because I'm awesome. But anyways, but yeah, everyone's got their things that they're going through. Like I think was struggling with a lot of like kind of like substance abuse and stuff, which he mentioned, which is fine, like, but yeah, and then he kept calling like randomly, like, and stuff like that. We would have nice chats. But unfortunately, my sister passed away the following month. So she passed away in January, and I met him like in Thanksgiving, so in November. And he had called me randomly. I was obviously distraught. Like, she was like my closest sister at the time. And I told him, like he had actually met my sister as well, because she was older and everything. And by the time she was 15, I think, whenever like I was born. And yeah, so I told him over the phone, and he never spoke to me again, ever. Like he totally blocked me, like never
Oh my
called
God.
and checked up on me. Like, and so that in itself made me realize how fake the whole situation was. Like, do you
Because
know what I
when
mean?
he actually had to be there for you,
He
he
wasn't.
just ran.
Yeah,
But it was
literally, that's
like,
it.
it seems he runs from every like responsibility and like
Yeah,
situation, yeah, where he has any sort of responsibility.
yeah. Nuts.
That's awful, Mel.
Yeah. I mean, like, at the moment, like, I think because I was obviously dealing with like my sister and grieving and my family and helping and like kind of going through all that. But yeah, so I didn't really like realize it until like later. I was like, oh yeah, like he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. And I was like, God, what a dick. And I was like, but he's a stranger. Like it didn't mean anything to me in that moment, just from meeting him once. Just because you're my dad doesn't mean anything. Like my fucking brother's more of my dad than you. Like he was there for me if I fell over and stuff like that. Like, he's the one who played with me when I was bored. Like, like, and obviously my other siblings too. But yeah, so it just made me realize that like family is who you believe is family. It's not about blood is blood, all that, even though my mom was in my ear saying that all the time growing up. Blood is blood,
No,
family
yeah,
is
like
family.
my dad says that as
Yeah.
well. It's like blood is blood, or like I've got quite a
Yeah.
close relationship with my brother,
Yeah.
but if I didn't and my dad said that, I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I mean. Is like obviously you should like love your family, give them a chance as if you would give anyone a chance and like give them love. But it just kind of made me realize that like actually he's nothing like to in my life. He's never been nothing, and it's actually okay. Like it's fine. Like I don't feel less of a person because of it. Like, you know, not everyone's gonna want to be your friend and be around you, and that includes your fucking parents.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Well, you can't choose your family,
you can.
but you can choose your friends.
Exactly.